Read the disclaimer, 13 and up. Do you suck at Beyblade and you want to learn how to win in some strategies? Oh boy, I got a script for you. In this video, we're going to be going over how to win in Beyblade Burst with strategies for you to learn. I'll be giving some terminologies. So get your launcher, your Beyblade, and let's get started. Alrighty, let's go over the basics. When you're launching your Beyblade, 3, 2, 1, go shoot, or 3, 2, 1, let it rip. And you launch it either shoot or the rip part. When your Beyblades battle in an official stadium, typically in competition, it is used in a burst standard stadium. This is a stadium with 3 pocket areas where your Beyblade can get knocked into. You have a somewhat sloped surface and a ridge where the Beyblades hang on to in battle. In later systems in DB/BU, there is a BU stadium with a deeper sloped surface and wider area of play for the Beyblades. On Beyblade Burst, there are obviously 3 ways for you to win. You either knock them out, KO or over finish, survivor finish where you outspin them, both of these are 1 point, or burst, which is 2 points. So a burst is basically where the Beyblade explodes, and it is very exciting to see this. Beyblades can also be one of 3 spin directions, either clockwise, right rotation, counterclockwise, left rotation, or dual spin where they're both of these rotations. So essentially what you need to know is that either if you have a TT Beyblade or TAKARA TOMY, Japanese product, it is with teeth. The HASBRO Beyblade, they have slopes on it where it's where they slide. And for teeth, they make a clicking sound, and these brands differ quite a bit. I'll be going over Beyblade Meta and basically kind of just the releases and just the general gist of all the stuff. Now, to basically go over a simplified idea, what are the types, how do they work, and how do they function? I mean, they're kind of obvious on the namesake, but just to explain. You have your 4 different types: attack, stamina, balance, and defense. Now, keep in mind that Beyblades can be labeled a specific type, but does not necessarily mean that that type of Beyblade will perform that way. Attack types are Beyblades with aggressive movement that have power and speed, and also generally have traits of poor stamina. What makes an attack type is that they have a very aggressive shape to them and are offensive. Mostly able to easily take down stamina types because they're not defensively able to tank all the attacks. And the main goal of victory is either to KO your opponent, make them lose spin somehow, knock them out of the stadium, or burst them, make them explode. And obviously results will always vary in battle and combination to combination and meta to meta. Now, defense types are the natural predator of attack types. Defense types are built like tanks. The whole idea is that while you don't have much stamina, their whole goal is just to basically just take down attack types. Just hold on till the end. There are also potentially defense types that could just have good stamina. You have to very much generalize when you talk about this stuff, but they can be very interesting. For stamina types, these Beyblades typically have very circular shape and are focused on OWD or outwards weight distribution. Your goal is to simply outspin your opponent easily in battle. Next, we have balance types, who basically just have all 3 attributes of these Beyblades mixed into one. Now, to go over strategy with attack types, basically what you want to do is a flat launch where basically you hold on, basically just normal how you would launch it, where it's kind of pointed towards your chest. Basically it's a race to who catches who first. Generally you just want to be launching stronger if you're against anything that isn't an attack type. So you want to basically flower pattern or rush launch it. So basically you're going to tilt your launcher below 90 degrees. That's where you have an angled launch, and in the result you have a repeated pattern that makes a flower shape that always goes from the ridge back to the middle of the stadium. Stamina, you launch hard. No, that's about it. You just launch hard. And how we talked about attack types, remember this, that generally with stamina types, similar to attack types, you don't want to flat launch all the time because you could potentially waste stamina by hitting the walls. You want to kind of tilt it a bit, so potentially you could just stand in the middle of the stadium and hold your ground. Defense, you can counter launch is basically where you just try to match your opponent on how you're launching, just to sort of, hit them at the start and then have to tank your attacks to outlast them. And balance can depend on whatever part you're using. Basically just apply what I've just said to the other stuff. Now, balance tuning is basically when you are reassembling your Beyblade by repositioning your part so that you are at your most balanced position when launched. So I'll basically show an example here where my disc is positioned one way, and if I launch the Beyblade, we're going to see how it compares to a Beyblade that is balance tuned. Generally the difference is just that one is less wobbly than the other. You have centralized weight distribution, where basically just the weight is to the middle. An example of this would be like the Yell disc in Beyblade, where you can have good attack potential, defense potential, KO resistance. It varies depending on what it is for the weight distribution. Outer weight distribution is basically found in a lot of big circular parts, which help with life after death. Life after death is essentially where it has high stamina and a round shape, but keeps going at the end. Back to outwards weight distribution, circular shape, so it basically allows the Beyblade more spins. An example here is if we have like X versus over. Over is a big round disc that is heavy. It's going to have more outwards weight distribution and life after death than, let's say, the Nexus disc. So burst attack, burst are basically Beyblades like attack types that are specifically designed with impact, so just to make them lose clicks and make your opponent explode. A smash or KO attack is basically when they have enough force to KO your Beyblade in the stadium. Upper attack refers to when Beyblades are sloped in their design and are best at a low high performance step where they basically scoop up your Beyblade, lift them up, and thrashing them. A spin steal or equalizers, it refers to a Beyblade of an opposite spin direction, so left versus right to right versus left, where your goal is to equalize in shape, and just at the end of the match you have to spin them. Now you could have rubber on these releases. You don't need rubber, you just need a round enough shape to equalize, but rubber does help with impact absorption. Also, I want to say a pretty effective strategy could be just weak launching. Now, generally this does depend, but usually for opposite spin stuff, if you kind of weak to medium launch, I would say that you are able to actually either potentially slow-mo burst, which is just because you're at a weaker spin, they're at a tougher spin, to potentially make them burst because of the impact they're giving you, or just kind of soften all the hits and kind of stay in the stadium, weakening their spin and managing to outspin them. It does depend on launch strength and also layer series. And that's kind of it. These are just like the most basic terminology and all that stuff, so I do hope this helped you out, and yeah. And yeah, that about does it for this video, so make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments. What are some other strategies or other terms that you want to share? Feel free to share and let me know. I'll try to heart some comments and reply to a few. Hope you enjoyed this series. I'll be going over the history and also where to get the Beyblades if you were wondering, so stay tuned for that. And thank you for watching. Have a fantastic day, and bye.